Hi, I've been teaching using music in the classroom for my entire career, and I'd like to share with you some of my ideas and hopefully inspire you to use music in your own classrooms. Many of the examples in this video are for intermediate and upper intermediate levels, so rather than use my lessons, which you're more than welcome to do, I'd like to inspire you to make your own lessons which suit your students. So what are the advantages of using music in class? Today's generation of young learners, digital natives, are often much more comfortable using a variety of media rather than just printed material like worksheets and textbooks. Music videos are inherently motivational to most teens, I think. Aren't pop songs the ultimate authentic material? It's the language that real young people use, the topics teenagers want to talk about, and it's really linked to our culture, which is what Soul Education is all about. Different students roll in different ways, and I think that categorising our kids by their intelligences is far too simplistic a way to look at human beings. But we all know that different people have different aptitudes, and music helps bring down the affective barrier and engages students emotionally as well as cognitively. They learn with their hearts as well as their heads. Studying music lyrics can be essentially like a reading comprehension. However, this sort of lesson can easily encompass all four skills. TPR, Total Physical Response. We all know this is perfect for little kids. I mean, remember, heads, shoulders, knees and toes, or the hokey cokey. But teenagers need to get up and move too. Granted, many of them are too cool for school, but an early morning class or a class just after lunch can often use an injection of physical activity. Music is the ultimate catalyst for producing a piece of work. The topic or story of a song can provoke a debate or a discussion, a piece of writing, a role play. And the tune itself can evoke an emotion or a memory, which leads to creative output. The lyrics of a song can put grammar structures and vocabulary into a really clear context, so students notice language and understand the meaning. This can move us teachers away from this teacher-centred grammar instruction approach and more towards the students discovering language for themselves. And finally, music lyrics can activate the class schemata on a subject. A schemata, this is their prior knowledge of a subject. A good way to start a project is by studying a song dealing with the topic. For example, if the class has chosen our Soul superhero project, then why not build a lesson plan around I Need a Hero by Bonnie Tyler? Here's some examples of how you can use specific songs to achieve your lesson aims. Most commonly, teachers use a song to highlight the grammar or vocabulary which occurs in the song lyric. A good example is Never Ever by All Saints, to talk about experiences. The lyric is Never ever have I ever felt so low. And this can lead to an elementary discussion like Never ever have I ever eaten curry, but I've eaten noodles. When? Where? Who with? Tell me about it. Sometimes a song can elicit grammar or vocabulary, but the grammar structures aren't actually in the lyric. The One That Got Away by Katy Perry is a song about regret. She sings that in another life, she'd still be with her boyfriend. Students can make notes about Katy Perry's real life. She's alone because she's lost her boyfriend. And her other life in a parallel universe where she's still in a couple. And comparing these notes, students can construct third conditional sentences, like, for instance, if I'd respected my boyfriend, we wouldn't have broken up. Using the topic of a song can provoke a discussion. Father and Son by Cat Stevens is about a troubled father and son relationship, and it can lead to a role play between father and son, or a debate over who is right. Sometimes the meaning of a song is not obvious, sometimes ambiguous. A song like End of a Century by Blur requires interpretation and speculation to guess the meaning. Students then employ critical thinking skills to deduce what the lyrics are all about, and there are no wrong or right answers. A song can help students to practice paraphrasing skills, to rewrite the song lyric in another genre. The Big Bang Theory by the Bare Naked Ladies is basically a song about the history of the universe from the Big Bang until human civilization. It can be studied as a song lyric and then rewritten as, say, a presentation. You can take a piece of classical music and the students listen to it. Choose how they feel from a large list of adjectives and nouns, and then make a monologue or a narration inspired by the vocabulary they've chosen. Now let's look at some practical ideas of how to use music in your class, starting with the warmer. Of course, make sure to write down the name of the song and the band on the board, because some of the students are definitely going to want to listen to the song on their phones later, and that can only be a good thing. You could write a selection of easy-to-hear lyrics on scraps of paper. The students stand around the table as you play the song, and as they hear the lyrics written on the paper, they grab them, and the student with the most bits of paper wins. Show the lyrics of the whole song to the students with 10 or 15 words deleted. Students listen to the song and they write down the missing word. These should be words that they already know or are fairly easy to hear. You can project the song lyrics onto the whiteboard, and this makes it easy to fill in the gaps as a class later. Alternatively, give the students song lyrics but with some of the words changed, which students must correct. For example, Yesterday by the Beatles. You could write down, yesterday all my troubles seemed so close by. Now it looks as though they've gone away. This helps students focus on the words close by and far away and gone away and here to stay. If you are asking the students to listen and write a word, always give them the correct answers at the end and make sure they have a full, correct, legible text to work from. Give the students a bingo card, and on the bingo card can be some words or phrases from the song, and also some similar sounding words and phrases which are not in the song. The students listen and they cross out what they hear. Write a bunch of words and phrases on the whiteboard, split the students into 2 teams and hand out fly swatters. Play the song. The students slap the word that they hear to win a team point, and then they pass the fly swatter to the next student and run to the back of the line. With more advanced students, listen to the song, maybe with some isolated phrases on the board. Discuss what the song is about in teams. It doesn't matter a bit if they get it wrong. They can try to make sense of the song together from hearing whatever they can. Don't help them with prompts or clues, let them take control. Before listening, activate the class schemata. In the case of this great song, Let It Go, it might not be necessary, because everybody knows Elsa, right? But get the class thinking along the correct lines from the outset by a general discussion on the topic. See my questions? A song lyric is the same as any text. If you want students to read and understand, you have to do this in stages. Look at the words to She's Leaving Home by the Beatles. Ask the students to skim the text with questions like, which characters appear in the song, or what do you think the song title is? This is to encourage students to think about the gist of the lyrics. Then ask them to scan the text for specific information with simple open and closed questions like what, how, where, when, is, does. The answers should be a word or a short phrase. Try to phrase your questions differently to the lyrics themselves to encourage the students to read and understand rather than just copy and paste answers. There might be vocabulary which the students don't understand. Knowing the general level of your class, design a task so students have to think about the meaning of various tricky words in the song. But teach them this process. Start with the text. Find the words that are underlined in bold. Is it a verb? Is it a noun, an adverb, or an adjective? Then read the whole sentence and think about how the new word fits in context. And then finally, find the true definition from this jumbled list. Other ways to encourage students to notice new vocabulary is using pictures or asking students to find words or phrases in the song to match a list of synonyms, like this example from Please Mr. Gravedigger by David Bowie. Or just leave students to try to work out the meanings of individual words from context. Take, for example, the word shovel in paragraph 2. Have the students work in teams and then follow this process. If they're analysing and using their critical thinking skills, it actually doesn't matter if they can't work out the exact meaning of a word. It's better that they use the process to find meaning themselves. Don't prompt them, don't give them clues, let them solve their own puzzles. And of course, you can always look the word up online or in a dictionary afterwards. Now, this is end of part 1, and we'll have a look at the next stage in part 2.